Today I'm joined by my buddy Todd Crockett with the Crockett Team out of Cleveland, Ohio. Listen, this is one of those where I know people are going to get some excitement. You were going to talk a little bit about kind of what you guys do to generate some great marketing, generate some opportunities for agents, what you guys do really to create an atmosphere where people can stay in their surge zone, I believe you call it. Man, this is a video you're going to get a ton out of, so get ready. Here we go. I love what y'all did just recently. I mean, it was an event when you did an open house for one of your, I guess, more of a luxury type of properties. Tell me kind of what went into that, because the video, I was like, man, I got to get to one of these.
Right?
I mean, I got to get to one of these. But
yeah.
Tell me what you did specifically, because it was everything. I mean, it was like literally like a party out of Las Vegas that came to this house in Cleveland. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Want to hear a pro tip? Here's a pro tip. Throw badass parties at other people's houses. You can't have more fun than that. Get the coolest vacant, extreme house that you have, and then throw a pop-up party there. So we did two of them. We had one that was, this house was originally a carriage house for a Howard Hanna industrialist mansion. So he had this house that was literally for his horses, and it was, the guy describes it as 100,000 cubic feet because how big it is ceiling-wise. So you open these doors that are 750 pounds and it goes through, and it's literally built for horses. So when you're into the grand room and you see the long, narrow windows, that's because they were stable openings. So this one we actually had a pop-up party, and we had Frank and Dean, the singers that really looked like Frank and Dean, and they performed, and it was an upscale event, and they broadcast it, so they had it on their stream, so it picked up about 1,000 people watching it live while we entertained. And I just jokingly, because I didn't want to stress out my sellers, so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have like Frank and Dean over at the house and play. And they just laughed. I was like joking. And then he came on by, and we had Frank and Dean and, a full out, bar service and everything. So with that one, and then more recently, I had a really cool outdoor pavilion property. And so I'm like, okay, we're going to throw a really sweet pop-up party. So we got another singer entertainment with there. But then, have you ever been to Las Vegas? There's a show called Abstinence.
Yes.
And it's the most rowdiest, outrageous show. It's like just like vulgar comedy combined with like Cirque du Soleil. So I'm like, okay, we're going to do that. So like, we're going to have that. And I literally planned it like 48 hours beforehand. So I've got, at this point, a girl on rollerblades that's in our video, and she's putting invitations all in the neighborhood. And then we just invited exclusive VIP clients. And then we've got this other girl that eats flames, spin flames, does all these type of items. And so we just had it as it's coming down to dusk, and it just created such energy at the property. And then you go ahead and market, hey, what happens at a Crockett pop-up party? And then what happens, it creates a lot of energy and activity. So I've had one guy, that Randy Carver, wanted to come over to it because he lived in the neighborhood, but he had to finish his interview with Jeb Bush before he could come on over. So that's the type of people we're attracting. So he caught the very end of it, enjoyed it. And then the good thing right about it, right after the pop-up party, I got to sell the place myself to my own buyer who bought it at 1.2 million paid cash, closed in 4 days.
Come on.
And that's how you throw a pop-up party.
That's how you
right?
do it.
And then you guys do a sequel on it. But it's the recap video that makes it attractive. And so now we're looking to plan a series of those, and it creates more of that entertainment for upper-end clients.
Yeah.
And an exposure that nobody else can give them. Because I think what you realize when you get to that clientele, they're looking for an experience.
That's right.
They could literally buy anything they want. But can you take them on a journey and experience and make the real estate process entertaining, enjoyable? You have to be technically on point and proficient. But if you're comfortable with all the details, you can have fun throughout the process. And I know Howard Britton used to always say, the key to spontaneity is great discipline.
Right.
If you have all of your scripts and dialogues down, you can flow any direction. And I remember Howard also saying, there's a law professor spoke to a class one time, and he asked them all, do you know how it is that a magician can pull a rabbit out of a hat? And he said, well, he put the rabbit in the hat before the show. And the intent was, if you get into a courtroom, you have to think about every single scenario. Somebody may object, comment, where are you going to go? And you have to have those. That's why we probably talk to ourselves all the time. So I look crazy because half the time I'm like, I look like a wild crazy man, just wandering off, talking to myself. I don't even bother trying to put in like a little earphone. I'm just like, no, listen, if you know my presentation, I'm probably working on four different endings depending on who interjects along the way.
That's it. it. I know. I'll tell you, I love the way that y'all not only have the parties, but the marketing side of it on the back. How do you distribute those videos out? How are you getting that word out? I think you mentioned, sharing that some with some of the other people and the invitees sharing it. But what are y'all doing specifically yourself to get it out?
And that's something we'll be continuing to grow on. So we've been utilizing just the social platforms of Facebook. How to get more doing LinkedIn, because I know that's a big video coming on.
Yeah.
But that's something we're going to work now and just have separate channels of distribution and work through that as we kind of evolve. It's one of those, we've been just kind of accelerating the pace of hitting as fast as we can while hitting the sales, because in our market, what happens is we get to the end of November, end of October, we hit November 1st. You know what happened November 1st? It falls back and it gets dark at like 5 o'clock. Right. And so like right now it's just, how fast can we just sell properties? Right. Then we'll structure that with more distribution and get to the point of having those emailed out to various clientele. But right now it's just been the social media and then just on our own, website platform.
That's good. I tell you what else I love that you guys do. I mean, your team, it's not just a word to say it's a family. You truly, y'all do everything together. I love the way that you have almost gamified the team concept as far as keeping the accountability there, those things. I know you're using Sisu for that some and some other things. Talk to me a little bit about the team environment and the environment you want to create for agents that gives them the ability really to thrive.
It is. The fun aspect is they are friendly competitors, but very competitive amongst the team. But it's also still the point of how well you can perform, in that scenario. So it's you learn from each other. You learn, and a lot of times you're going to learn what to do. Sometimes you learn what not to do. Right. But everything is and when Scott, our sales manager, said, it's really almost like learning in dog years, because it's 7 times the experience. And the more you see people go through that, the more you learn from various situations. Right. And so you're always looking for that one little takeaway, that one technique that somebody did. And here's one thing is, if you've been around real estate long enough, and anybody here watching this, you know what I mean? You've probably seen it before. I remember giving presentations and, we'd have people sitting there, I've seen that before. Well, it doesn't matter if you've seen it before. Are you doing it? Are you doing it daily? And what happens sometimes, you'll watch somebody else give a presentation, a great technique, and you'll be like, oh my God, I'm not doing that. I taught them that. I'm not like it fell off the table. That's you know what I mean? Yeah. So you always have to visit back and make sure you're using the different techniques, because certainly there's times when you're like, hey, that's something I should be utilizing. And so it's always fun to I think you're really competing with how good you can be. Yeah. I think in any situation, any presentation, any negotiations. Yeah. I think I learned something when we were on just a group call, calling it a listening presentation. So guys, don't go on listing presentations, go on listening presentations. Yeah. Because what you want to be able to do is ask the right questions and then listen. Because they'll say whoever asks the questions controls the conversation. Whoever does the talking dominates the conversation. You want to control the flow and ask questions. Yeah. What questions should I be asking you?
No, I tell you what, I've got more for you. Come on, man. I mean, I'm feeling energized right now already. Let's talk a little bit about because I think obviously when you're running a team this big and the amount of business y'all are doing, you got to have some core tenements. You've got to have some lead generation pillars that you have in your business. You've got to have some nurturing things, and you got to have some conversion things. Let's start with the lead generation side of it. What do y'all do to generate the leads that you have?
Yeah, it comes down, it's the Boomtown platform is what's continually running all the time, but it's also building the relationships of the referrals in the service that you offer.
Right.
And I think one thing team-wise, especially nowadays, is making sure you have the systems in place so you can flow through transactions the same uniform experience if you have multiple closing coordinators, because we now have divisions that are closing coordinators. Like our closing department is literally Chloe Crockett. So if somebody gets something, they're going to get it from Chloe Crockett. But it's 2 people servicing that, so that way our agents get around always are receiving service around the clock, various hours. Our clients always have a go-to person. So if they send an email, it's going to get dispersed and handled by multiple people.
Right. Yeah.
And Chloe's never leaving.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you can't virtually walk out of our office when you're just a figment.
That's exactly right.
Sticking around.
Yeah. So from that standpoint, y'all are generating leads, you're nurturing those leads as they come along, and you're converting them. Let's talk about after the sale. I mean, obviously, as long as you guys have been doing it as effectively as you've been doing, there's got to be some follow-up you guys do with your past clients. Sphere of influence type marketing. What are y'all doing there, or systems that you have in place?
One thing we're doing really now is providing solutions. I used to always say, I don't sell you any houses, I just sell you my service. I started to realize now what I do is I share solutions. Solutions sell themselves. You just literally provide
Yeah.
solutions. So a lot of it in our area, we've had people that, if you ever watch like Drew Carey show,
Yeah.
and like the 70s show, well, that's like half our marketplace. That is how it's decorated. I mean, you think the first floor is bad. Wait till you go in the attic or the basement.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got like World War II medals
Yeah.
and stuff. So now like they need to clear it out to sell. So we literally would be like, okay, here's what we're going to help. You can, with the sticker, just mark anything with the sticker we give you that you want to keep, you want to donate, you want the storage, and we can make those things move. So we literally, for past clients, I now have them saying, hey, listen, I saw your videos that you donate furniture to the furniture bank that goes to the needy. Can you pick up this couch and living room set?
Oh, yeah.
So it gives that type of thing of what do you need. They feel good about it, and then we just have guys come over in the truck, pick up the stuff, donate it out. But it started really prepping properties that way, because the quicker we can get something on the market, because right now, essentially, we're looking at, okay, if you're going to get close to selling a property, I mean, I got to have my drone over there within the next 2 weeks, because otherwise
Yes.
all these leaves are falling.
Right.
And they realize we're into the fourth quarter, so how quickly can you get that home on the market? And so that's what we need to do, because there's a lot of distractions, and you hear one in the background. But you know
Right.
what it is? The world goes on, and so does this presentation. So
right.
life is distracting. People get sick kids. There's apparently some type of pandemic going
Something
around.
wrong? I heard something
so,
about that. Yeah.
So that may slow them down. Contractors can't get things done. So we will have guys clear things out. I'll have guys if something needs to be painted. In a lot of our area, they'll have like shag orange carpet, which means it's been there for 40 years. But it also means the hardwood floor below there is absolutely pristine. Let's pull that carpet, pull the tacks out, show it that way. So I help people prep properties with contractors that can get in and get it out, get it done quickly. I had one recently. They had to put an offer on a house non-contingent upon selling theirs because it was a multiple offer. And I'm like, don't worry, Chris and Rachel, we'll get your house sold at the open house on Sunday. And they're like, but I thought we were going to paint the basement and get all stuff done. I'm like, we're going to do that on Saturday. So at 8 a.m., boom, 5 guys. They thought, like, you normally think 5 guys and fries. No, I got 5 guys in paintbrushes and rollers. So they painted the whole basement on Saturday. Open house comes on Sunday. I end up with 2 full price offers, but then I get one $8,000 over list price. That gives them 30 days rent free. So now they can close their current house before the house they committed to buy, so they don't have to go on bridge financing. They don't have to recalculate the loan. Recast is the word. Recast the loan, so they don't have to do that. And so you literally provide those type of solutions that just make things happen.
See, those solutions are the key now. I mean, that's that differentiator, that you're giving that extra value that people don't realize how much that does to not only get their house sold, but it gives them that peace of mind to know you got this.
Yeah.
You got it under control for them. So listen, let's kind of wrap up with this. If you were someone that was new or had hit a plateau or somewhere in their business and you were like, man, I just wish, what are the things you wish you would have known back in the day, so to speak, that you could apply now that maybe a new agent's listening to or somebody that's newer to the business?
Yeah, I think I started out, as most agents do, in your transaction focused.
So good. Yeah.
And then I think it really just comes down to the relationship focus of how you can add value to their lives, because it's especially I'm talking to them, if you're moving in 2020, it's pretty, you'll always remember it.
Yeah.
We got the householdness. And so you build that bond, and we build the bond with people that they enjoy that experience. Well, they want you to continue that experience throughout.
Yeah.
So how do you go ahead and just touch base with them and provide that? Because what you realize right now you literally have to be and this is like the year of the purge right now. So whatever isn't serving your life, you're gonna have to get out, and you have to pivot on a pandemic. So it's really okay. What gives you a surge? What gives you a purge? When you're doing something,
good.
what's going to be when you've got that red hot zone, when you've got your heart pumping, goose bumping, you want to stay in that zone. How do you get in that zone? And whatever you need to purge. It's almost like a video game, like certain things you bump into and your energy battery level goes down.
Yeah.
There's either situations or people that you bump into, and they will literally purge your energy. So we have to just say, okay, how do we reflect and deflect them so they don't drain us, so you can add more value.
Yeah.
So we want to surge, and all the purge. You know who you are that are people that are making us purge. We're not going to name you out, but we're going to avoid you pleasantly, redirect you, because the intent is, if you let somebody take your time, when you say yes to something, you say no to something else.
Right.
So if somebody's chewing your time up, then we can help less people, because we're helping somebody trying to help someone that's always going to have a problem for every solution.
Yeah.
So we want to just say, how do you stay in that red hot surge zone, have fun, help more people,
Man, you can
Make
stay
like a
there.
party.
You
Just
can
keep pop-up party.
That's it. If you can stay in that red hot zone. And that, that's the thing. That's the whole key to everything in life, not just in real estate. I love that. Listen, I know some people got some value out of this. Share with them kind of the best way to get in touch with you. I would encourage them also, if you can share your social media, to follow what you guys are doing, because it's some of the best I've ever seen.
Sure.
At making sure you're marketing in a great way. But where would people
Yeah,
get
best thing to do is just Todd, T-O-D-D, at trainlaunch.com. trainlaunch.com. That's where you'll see all the housing videos coming out and additional items right there. Be happy to get back to you any way possible.
All right, guys, I know you got something good out of this. We'll talk to you soon.